In the long river of history, some names are like stars in the dark night, mysterious and distant, and Enoch is one such star. His story, like dust scattered on ancient parchment, reveals with a gentle brush a unique era, an interface where myth and reality intertwine. Unlike the earthly end of most patriarchs, the biblical record of Enoch is exceptionally concise yet earth-shattering. Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. These few words have left an endless space for imagination for later generations. What kind of figure was he, to receive such a singular honor, to be taken directly from the human world by God? And what mysteries lie hidden within this? Enoch, a name meaning dedicated or initiator in Hebrew, lived in the primordial age near the dawn of creation. He was the seventh descendant of Adam and the great-grandfather of Noah. In that era, human lifespans far exceeded today's et la prus. Yet Enoch lived for only 365 years, a number strikingly coincidental with the solar year before mysteriously vanishing from the stage of history. This brief yet extraordinary life made him a special being connecting heaven and earth. He was not merely a devout believer, but a sage who perceived the mysteries of the universe, a prophet capable of direct communication with divine beings. Ancient legends and pseudepigraphal literature, particularly the Book of Enoch, paint a fuller picture of him. In these accounts, he is depicted as a great scribe, recording the language of angels and delineating the sights of heaven. Led by angels, he journeyed through the heavens, witnessing the structure of the cosmos, the movements of stars, the battles between good and evil, and the future judgment. These extraordinary experiences elevated Enoch beyond an ordinary patriarch. He became a guardian of mystical knowledge, a key figure in unlocking ancient secrets. It is within these misty accounts that the vague outline of a city associated with Enoch emerges. This was no ordinary city. It was more like an ideal sacred gathering place, a symbol of wisdom and harmony. Legend has it that before his ascension, Enoch established a city on earth as a center for disseminating sacred knowledge and edifying the masses. This city, due to its founder's special status and the extraordinary wisdom it embodied, became imbued with a thick veil of mystery for later generations. Perhaps it was built according to the perfect blueprint of a heavenly city, a transient projection of divine order onto the mortal realm. Other interpretations suggest that this City of Enoch does not refer entirely to a physical structure on earth, but symbolizes a spiritual state, a community compusto of devout followers who adhered to Enoch's teachings. They collectively guarded the revelations from on high, living a secluded life dedicated to spiritual elevation. Regardless of its specific form, the core concept of the City of Enoch points to a place intimately connected with divine wisdom, yet lost to the sight of ordinary mortals. Its existence, like a distant dream, has drawn countless explorers, temperatura, attempting to find its true traces amidst historical fragments and legendary labyrinths. This is not just a remembrance of a prophet, but a yearning for the higher wisdom and spiritual achievements that might have existed in early human civilization. And the starting point of this pursuit begins with understanding Enoch the man and the ancient era of miracles and mysteries in which he lived. This pursuit naturally turns its gaze towards those ancient scrolls, atomos of distant memories. Hidden within yellowed papyrus, eroded clay tablets, and orally transmitted epics are the codes to the past, awaiting careful decipherment. Among these, the most striking is undoubtedly the Book of Enoch. This ancient text, hovering outside the canonical scriptures, opens a unique window for us to peer into Enoch's world and his possible city. It is not a single text, but a collection of works from different periods, primarily preserved in an Ethiopic version, with later archaeological discoveries unearthing Hebrew and Aramaic fragments, confirming its more ancient origins. The content of the Book of Enoch is vast and wondrous, far exceeding the brief mention of Enoch in the canonical Bible. It details Enoch's experiences of being guided by angels through the seven heavens. He witnessed the magnificent structure of the universe, the precise movements of the stars, the patterns of seasonal changes, and the hierarchies and duties of angels. The book is filled with descriptions of astronomical, geographical, and meteorological knowledge, some of which is astonishingly advanced for its era. This knowledge, believed to have been personally imparted to Enoch by God, became a symbol of his wisdom. It is this profound knowledge and Enoch's role as a scribe recording heavenly revelations that leads some scholars to speculate he may have attempted to establish a center on earth for learning and transmitting this sacred wisdom. Certain sections of the book, such as the Book of the Watchers, mentioned fallen angels mating with human women, giving birth to giants, and bringing chaos to the earth. Enoch plays an intermediary role here, interceding for humanity before God and proclaiming judgment upon the fallen angels. Does this emphasis on order and reverence for divine law also suggest that the community Enoch advocated for or established was a place dedicated to restoring and maintaining cosmic harmony? The visions and prophecies in the book depict a future judgment and the advent of a new heaven and new earth, which might have led Enoch's followers to form a unique group with an apocalyptic worldview, strictly adhering to divine laws. Besides the Book of Enoch itself, other Jewish and early Christian pseudepigraphal writings, as well as Gnostic texts, also indirectly or directly refer to Enoch's extraordinary wisdom and the secret knowledge he transmitted. While these documents vary in their specific details, they collectively point to one thing: Enoch represented a spiritual tradition that was more profound and mystical, distinct from mainstream understanding. Such a tradition would inevitably require a vehicle for transmission, a school or a community for its practice. And a stable, organized community often forms a settlement, which is the nascent form of a city. Interpreting these ancient scrolls is like fumbling through a labyrinth. The language is highly symbolic and allegorical, and subtle differences in translation can lead to deviations in understanding. Descriptions of the city of Enoch are often veiled, interwoven with depictions of heavenly scenes and aspirations for a future ideal kingdom. It might not refer to a mundane city of bricks and mortar, but rather a highly organized center of wisdom with a shared faith and knowledge system. A city of light, contrasting sharply with the surrounding ignorance. These codes in the ancient scrolls are not direct map coordinates, but rather pointers to a possibility, a lost wisdom tradition, a once existent community dedicated to exploring the mysteries of the universe and divinity. It is the faint light emanating from these texts that ignites the desire of later generations to search for its material traces in the real world, hoping to unearth evidence from beneath the dust-covered earth that resonates with these ancient accounts. The faint light from ancient scrolls, while indicating a direction, ultimately requires earthly corroboration. Thus, the quest shifts from dusty tomes to the vast expanse of the earth, hoping to touch the tangible echoes of those distant legends beneath the slumbering soil. Archaeologists, like temporal detectives armed with trowels and compasses, attempt to discern a thread of evidence pertaining to Enoch's era amidst complex ruins. However, this is destined to be a challenging pursuit. The era in which Enoch lived is unimaginably remote, a primordial time when writing was not widespread, and history and myth were seamlessly intertwined. Geological changes, the erosion of time, and the legendary global flood could have completely erased all traces or buried them deep within inaccessible strata. So, where would archaeologists look for possible clues to the City of Enoch? Their gaze would first turn to those ancient lands considered the cradles of human civilization. The Mesopotamian plain, the fertile land that nurtured glorious civilizations like Sumer and Akkad, its early sites, hide cultural layers even older than those related to the narratives in Genesis. Göbekli Tepe in southeastern Turkey, a megalithic temple complex thousands of years older than the Giza pyramids, though potentially predating the traditionally accepted Enochian era, undoubtedly overturns our understanding of the complexity of prehistoric human societies with its astonishing organizational capacity and complex religious beliefs. It proves that humans were capable of constructing magnificent ceremonial centers before the large-scale rise of agricultural civilization, providing some circumstantial evidence for the existence of a city of wisdom or sacred settlement. Archaeologists also focus on regions geographically linked to early biblical narratives, such as the Levant, and the routes along which patriarchs were said to have migrated and lived. In these places, they meticulously examine settlement sites of exceptionally ancient date, looking for distinctive features. These features might include unusual urban planning, suggesting advanced geometric or astronomical knowledge, unique sacrificial structures or symbols, pointing to a belief system different from mainstream polytheism, perhaps leaning towards monotheism, or cosmic order worship, or certain excavated tools or artifacts whose sophistication or materials surpass the general technological level of the time, hinting at some lost craft. In searching for the City of Enoch, archaeologists are not merely looking for the physical remains of a city. They are searching for an imprint, a cultural characteristic consistent with the wisdom, order, and sanctity described in the legends of Enoch. This might not be a massive city-state in the traditional sense, but a small, highly specialized community center, akin to an early monastery or academy of wisdom. Its importance lies not in its scale, but in its spiritual core and knowledge transmission. Therefore, excavation focus might be on remains that suggest complex rituals, astronomical observations, knowledge recording, or teaching activities. For example, stone tablets inscribed with complex geometric patterns found at some sites, or megalithic alignments with specific astronomical significance, could become thought-provoking clues. However, directly linking these possible archaeological discoveries to the legend of the City of Enoch requires extreme caution. Dating and cultural interpretation are fraught with uncertainty. Often, what we find may only be scattered fragments, inexplicable anomalies. They are like shells scattered on the beach of history, beautiful and mysterious, but from which distant ocean they came is difficult to ascertain. The work of archaeologists is to listen intently to these echoes on the earth, trying to decipher the stories forgotten by time from silent stones and dust-covered pottery, piecing together the vague outline of that lost age. Every unusual discovery could be a small window, allowing us a glimpse into the depth and mystery of that distant past. Even if it cannot directly prove the existence of the City of Enoch, it is enough to broaden our understanding of early human spiritual exploration and the origins of civilization. When the archaeologist's trowel touches those hard, cold, yet seemingly breathing ancient relics, sometimes they bring not complete answers, but deeper enigmas. These riddles in the ruins, unearthed from the depths of the earth, challenge our existing historical cognitive frameworks with their silent presence, forcing us to re-examine the complexity of humanity's distant past. They are like isolated stars scattered in the wasteland of time, their unique light suggesting that in those forgotten eons, wisdom and civilization far exceeding our imagination might have existed. Consider Pumapunku in the Bolivian highlands, for example. The scattered andesite megaliths, with their precise cuts, smooth polish, and tight joints, would be a feat even with modern technology. H-shaped blocks, complex grooves and protrusions, resemble components of some giant, precise machinery. Mainstream archaeology attributes it to the Tiwanaku civilization, but the level of construction technology displayed and the tools potentially required for stone processing still perplex many researchers. These stones silently speak of a lost art, a high mastery of geometry and engineering. Are they isolated technological peaks, or the tip of the iceberg of a broader, more mature civilization? Let us turn our gaze to ancient astronomical observatories. The stone circles and alignments discovered at Nabta Playa in Egypt, predating even the famous Stonehenge, demonstrate that these seemingly simple stone arrangements accurately pointed to specific stars, recording the slow precession of the equinoxes. This was not merely primitive seasonal marking, but hinted at long-term observation and profound understanding of macroscopic cosmic movements. Does this obsession with celestial phenomena, this effort to align earthly order with the stars above, resonate in some distant way with the Book of Enoch's depiction of Enoch journeying through the heavens and learning cosmic mysteries? Were these sites places where those who walked with God attempted to understand and record the laws of the universe? Around the world, so-called out-of-place artifacts occasionally appear objects incongruous with their archaeological stratum in terms of age and technology. Although many such discoveries are later proven to be misunderstandings or hoaxes, some retain an inexplicable aura of mystery. Their existence, even as a few isolated cases, is like small holes drilled into the solid dam of history, allowing glimpses of alternative possibilities beyond the mainstream narrative. Are these anachronistic objects, a few scattered remnants left by a highly developed but ultimately annihilated civilization? These archaeological discoveries that challenge traditional understanding collectively point to a thought-provoking question. Did one or more lost civilizations exist before our known sequence of civilizations? They might not have left coherent written records, or their social structures and technological paths might have been vastly different from the models we are familiar with, but they reached astonishing heights in architecture, astronomy, art, or some unknown spiritual technology. These civilizations might have been abruptly terminated due to natural disasters, wars, or some reasons we do not yet understand, leaving behind only difficult-to-interpret ruins like dream fragments scattered on the fringes of history. Examining these riddles in the ruins is not about entirely negating existing archaeological frameworks, but about maintaining an open spirit of exploration. They remind us that human history may be richer and more intricate than we imagine. These riddles themselves are an invitation to think more deeply, to hypothesize more boldly, and to verify more meticulously. Do they point towards an ancient center like the City of Enoch, embodying high wisdom and spiritual pursuit? While a direct link is still missing, the aura of advanced wisdom and mystery emanating from these ruins undoubtedly provides a compelling backdrop for such legends. They are silent witnesses, quietly waiting for future generations to unravel the layers of time entwined around them. This path of pursuit, from exploring the mists surrounding Enoch the man, to the meticulous interpretation of codes in ancient scrolls, and then to the deep reflections sparked by silent ruins upon the earth, feels as if we are drifting along a river woven from legend, text, and material clues. However, this river has not reached its end. The secret of Enoch's lost city remains deeply hidden behind the mists of history, like an eternal question mark on the horizon, beckoning generation after generation of explorers. What we hold in our hands are scattered puzzle pieces, a prophet taken by God, a wondrous book filled with cosmic mysteries and apocalyptic prophecies, and some ancient ruins scattered across the world that challenge traditional historical views. The cosmological vision, angelic knowledge, and Enoch's identity as a heavenly scribe depicted in the Book of Enoch suggest a highly developed, systematic divine wisdom. If this wisdom ever had a center of transmission on Earth, that would be the core essence of the City of Enoch. And while sites like Pumapunku with its precisely cut megaliths, the Nabta Playa stone circles oriented to the stars, and other potential ooparts cannot be directly linked to Enoch's name, they collectively point to a possibility. In the distant prehistoric era, humanity might have possessed knowledge and technology far beyond our imagination, establishing special communities that reflected cosmic order. These ruins, like a few surviving notes from a lost symphony, evoke contemplation of how magnificent the complete melody must have been. Future exploration will undoubtedly rely on technological advancements and interdisciplinary collaboration. More advanced remote sensing technologies, such as LiDAR and ground-penetrating radar, might penetrate dense vegetation or thick layers of soil to reveal hidden ancient settlement structures. More precise dating methods will help clarify the true chronological attribution of controversial sites. Linguists' reinterpretation of ancient texts, semioticians' study of ancient symbols, and astronomers' analysis of the astronomical functions of ancient sites could all provide new perspectives and clues for archaeologists. We might also need to turn our gaze to areas still largely unexplored, corners overlooked by mainstream archaeology, because lost wisdom sometimes lies hidden in the most unknown places. However, even if we exhaust all means, we may not find a physical city inscribed with the name City of Enoch. For the meaning carried by this legend has long transcended geographical location. The quest for the City of Enoch, on a deeper level, reflects humanity's eternal yearning for a lost golden age, for a source of higher wisdom and spirituality. It symbolizes an ideal social form, a state where humanity lives in harmony with God and the universe. This legend, like a cultural gene, is deeply embedded in humanity's collective unconscious, constantly inspiring us to reflect on our origins, potential, and ultimate destiny. It reminds us that the transmission of knowledge may not always be a linear progression. There can also be ruptures and oblivion. The sparks of wisdom, Hazinahu in myths and legends, might be reflections of the profound insights of ancient peoples into the universe and life. To seek the City of Enoch is also to ask ourselves, have we forgotten something important? While pursuing a high degree of material civilization, have we neglected the construction of our inner spiritual world? Therefore, the value of this unending quest lies not merely in whether a specific city can be found. More importantly, it drives us to explore the frontiers of the human spirit, to understand those aspirations and pursuits that transcend the material level. The legend of the City of Enoch, like a mirror, reflects our unceasing yearning for wisdom, harmony, and transcendence. It is an eternal motif, inspiring us to continually trace back through the river of history, to tirelessly seek in the real world, and also, within each person's heart, to build their own city of wisdom. This path is long and full of unknowns, but it is precisely this unknown that endows exploration with infinite charm and profound significance. Our journey has now traversed the mist-shrouded ancient past, touched the wisdom of yellowed scrolls, and gazed upon the silent riddles deep within the earth. The legend of Enoch and his lost city like the most distant star in the night sky, may have a faint light, yet it perpetually guides humanity's curious gaze and that unceasing quest for the unknown. The river of time continues to flow endlessly, concealing more secrets while quietly releasing more clues. Every gaze into the past is an enlightenment for the future. Thank you for your companionship, for walking with us through this journey filled with mystery and imagination. May we all find our own peace and answers in the profundity of history and the vastness of the universe. The road ahead is still long, and the spirit of exploration will never dim.